So I will confess I'm slightly tired. That was long. Yeah, go ahead. My name is Ahilan Aralanandam. I'm counsel of record in FBI Fazaga, which I just finished arguing. The case itself is a challenge to the FBI's long-standing practice for the last 20 years of treating law-abiding Americans as inherently suspicious simply because they are Muslim. There's now overwhelming evidence from human rights organizations, leaks by concerned government officials, and the lived experience of people in Muslim American communities all throughout the country that the FBI has systematically violated the Constitution's protections for religious freedom for far too long. As their own informant said in this case, they instructed him to spy on Sheikh Yasser Fazaga just because he was a religious leader who stood up for his community, on Ali Malik just because he had embraced his faith as a young man, and on Yasser Abdul Rahim just because he was living with other Muslims and playing a lot of video games. Opportunities to challenge the FBI's conduct are of course rare, as it mostly occurs in secret. And even when they do come to light, it takes a special kind of person to speak truth to the power of the FBI. It has truly been one of my life's greatest honors to represent these three courageous people who I know you'll be hearing from in just a minute. We sincerely hope that the Supreme Court will allow our client's case to proceed in fidelity to the Constitution's protections for religious freedom. And as you heard, they had a lot of hard questions for both sides. Now we will wait and hope that they will see a path to justice. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. My name is Hussam Ayloush. It's Hussam. Last name is Ayloush, Ayloush, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of CAIR, the Council on American Islamic Relations, California chapter. Thank you for joining us today. 15 years ago, the FBI recruited an informant, fed him false information about the local Muslim community, sent him into places of worship, and then spent more than a decade trying to cover up all of their abuses. As the executive director of CAIR LA and the CEO of CAIR California, back then I received numerous calls from concerned members of our community about a man trying to incite violence. So I took action and personally reported the individual to the FBI as a potential domestic threat to the greater Los Angeles area. The Supreme Court's decision in this case will have serious implications for us all. The court can rule that First Amendment applies to every American, no exceptions, that we cannot target and surveil Americans on the basis of their religion, that it's not who we are as a country. Or it can rule in favor of the FBI, leaving us with a justice system where even our highest court does not have oversight over government agencies. Imagine what that could mean. Are we a country where even the most powerful can be held accountable, or are we not? It is time for accountability. It's time for justice. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Yasser Fazaga, Yassir. Fazaga is Fazaga. Back then I was the Imam of the Orange County Islamic Foundation in Mission Viejo. In the capacity of an Imam, I worked diligently to establish trust between my community and the US government after the horrifying attacks of September 11. That was more than 20 years ago. Because I believe that trust is the most important element in any healthy human relationship. I invited the FBI to speak with members of our community because ignorance breeds fear. In that town hall meeting, the FBI looked us in the eyes and assured us unequivocally that they were not spying on us, and we trusted them. But they lied, and our sacred community was shaken to its core. I hope and I pray that the Supreme Court will allow us to hold them accountable for treating people who practice Islam as second-class citizens. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Biebring, B-I-B-R-I-N-G, and I am Senior Counsel at the ACLU of Southern California, and along with Mr. Arulanantham, have been counsel for plaintiffs in this case since the beginning. 15 years ago, the FBI sent an informant into mosques in Orange County and charged him with gathering as much information on Muslims as possible, and particularly to focus on religious leaders and those who appeared more devout. For the FBI to target people for surveillance based on their religious beliefs and religious practices violates the First Amendment guarantee of freedom of religion, one of the core liberties on which our nation was founded. The United States government has argued that courts can never even hear this case because to defend themselves they would have to disclose state secrets. But where government spies on Americans here, on U.S. soil, in their homes and in their houses of worship, courts must be open to hear their claims of abuse and to ensure that our government operates within the law. Our nation has seen this before, more than 40 years ago, spurred by revelations of abusive monitoring of civil rights leaders, anti-war protesters, and yes, religious groups that were then perceived as a threat. Congress passed legislation to allow courts to review surveillance conducted in the name of national security. These procedures must apply today. Neither Congress nor the Constitution allow government to have a free pass for unconstitutional surveillance in the name of national security. And the state secrets doctrine cannot be an excuse to look the other way on religious discrimination by our own government of Americans at home. The ACLU is proud, and I am proud, to stand with these men, with CAIR, and with the Muslim communities of Southern California to fight to give meaning to the Constitution's promise of religious freedom. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ali Malik. I was in my early 20s when I learned that my own government was spying on me and attempting to entrap me because of my religion. I felt deeply betrayed and sad. I also did not understand how the US government could get away with violating a right I knew was guaranteed to me by the Constitution. I decided to hold my government accountable for what it did to us. 15 years later, I'm a grown man with children who wonder why their dad is suing their government. I tell them the truth, that while this happened before they were born, the impacts of this case will extend even beyond their generation. That I'm doing this for their children and for all other Americans who believe that the most patriotic thing someone can do is fight for the Constitution, so that all Americans can be protected by it. I'm not suing the government or the FBI because I hate the government. I'm suing the FBI because I love my country and the Constitution. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Yasser Abdelrahim. When I found out that the FBI was spying on me because I worshipped at a mosque, I felt betrayed. I felt that the place of worship I once found peace in and connected with spiritually was no longer safe. I'm here today because I know firsthand the impact this has had on me and my community. And I believe that every US citizen and resident deserves and should have the freedom to practice their beliefs peacefully without being prosecuted. I hope that the Supreme Court upholds my community and my religious freedoms and renews my faith in the rights regarded by myself and everyone in the US Constitution. Finally, I want to thank everybody that has supported us and continues to support us throughout this process. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. First of all, I would like to say to Yasser, Ali, and Yasser, American Muslims and Americans of all faith backgrounds owe you a great debt of gratitude for your courage, for standing up for your rights, and for standing up for what's right, and standing up for the Constitution. And another thank you to CAIR LA for standing up for our community, and for the ACLU to stand by all Americans, including Muslims, and for two wonderful attorneys who impressed us with their oral argument today by defending the rights of all Americans, including Muslims. I believe the case is simple. The government has no evidence and is hiding behind state secrets. And that's why they're using the state secrets clause. It should be evident to the Supreme Court that the government has no case against American Muslims. Otherwise, they would have allowed the plaintiffs, their lawyers, and the courts at least to see what kind of evidence they have against them. These plaintiffs were deprived this right, and it should be a red flag to all Americans. To spy on Muslims after 9/11 without oversight, the Supreme Court has to assure all Americans that the government will not be allowed to do this without accountability. We have learned so much from the past generations, and this court today has the obligation to assure American Muslims and all Americans that their religious freedom is untouchable. Thank you.